Around Kansas, brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook, or visit us online at sftmeats.com.
Kansas is sometimes called Tornado Alley, along with Oklahoma and Texas. And those were the very same states where the great cattle drives happened in the post-Civil War era, when the legend of the cowboy came to life. Imagine being on the trail drives in those days without weather radio, weather radar, and all the modern communications we have. This is a serious poem that I wrote. It's titled Terror on the Trail. It was cloudy and dry that hot day in July as we drove cattle up the trail. We were needing rest in our dogged quest to drive them to the Kansas rail. But in the western skies where we turned our eyes, a cloud bank started to build. Then the clouds turned dark. We saw lightning spark as the black clouds grew and filled. The air was muggy. Hoss's eyes went buggy. The cattle were restless and flighty. As the clouds drew near, the boss made it clear, this storm is going to be mighty. Then the sky turned green like nothing we'd seen. The air was so still it was eerie. With nary a bicker, we pulled on our slickers, even though we were bone-tired and weary. Rain started to fallin', the cattle were bawlin', and the clouds started whirling around. We heard a distant roar, then the noise seemed to soar till it filled our ears with the sound. To our terrified stare from the devilish air, a black rope dropped from the skies. With a roar like a train, it plowed across the plain, tossing men, dirt, and cattle like flies. "It's a cyclone, boys," the boss yelled through the noise. "Now it's every man for hisself." My loyal horse spooked despite my rebuke as I rode him off a side hill shelf. The cattle stampeded and ran unheeded as brave men rode for their lives. Critters ran pell-mell in the face of this hell in a desperate race to survive. Then the roar started fading, and the sound started trading some raindrops for the cyclone's roar. The rain came in torrents to the rider's abhorrence, like an ocean tide pounding the shore. Then we saw the rain stop, with a few stray raindrops. Of a sudden, the sky was clear blue, but the path of the storm and the death it performed came fully into our view. Dead cattle and a horse along the storm's course gave the killer storm mute testimony. 2 cowhands were dead and 21 head of longhorns plus 1 cow pony. We grieved for our pards, and though it was hard, we buried them there on the plain. Then I mounted my steed and resumed the deed of gathering the herd that remained. Now we've made Abilene, but the sights that I've seen will stay in my nightmares without fail. For I saw bodies fly that hellish day in July when a cyclone hit out on the trail. Happy trails.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.